Well, I'm here with Nate Willems, a Democratic candidate for Attorney General. It's been a while since we checked in, so I just wanted to hear how things are going with the campaign.
Great, Lori. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Yeah, we're working very hard every day, just putting in consistent effort to travel the state and meet with Iowans. And by the same token, I'm still a practicing attorney in Cedar Rapids, so I still have real responsibilities to my clients. But we're putting in you know consistent effort on an every week basis to win this race in November.
What are you hearing from people as you're traveling around the state? And is it consistent or is it different in different parts of Iowa?
I mean, there's just an overall frustration with Des Moines. Absolutely, an overall frustration with Des Moines. And then I think there certainly is a growing recognition of what we had with Tom Miller as a dignified, somewhat just not particularly partisan attorney general, and we kind of see the contrast now. So Iowans have you know, I think Iowans are simply not taking the attorney general position for granted as perhaps they to some degree might have over Tom Miller's long tenure.
Can you describe what a typical day is like for you? I know you said you're juggling
Mhm.
a law practice with this campaign.
Right. Well, right. So I'm in my office before 8:15 or 8:25 somewhere in there, like normal in Cedar Rapids, and I'm doing representing my labor clients, injured workers, workers with other employment matters, and then I get out the door by noon to come home to Mount Vernon. I have lunch. I take the dogs out. I sit for about 5 minutes, and then I hustle over here to this little campaign office where I spend most of my afternoons on the phone, but then traveling the state several nights, and weekends, a week, and afternoons. Uh, we're probably getting I don't know, an oil change about once every 8 weeks at this
Mhm.
point. But so lots of time on the road, absolutely.
What, how are people receiving your message about how you want to reorient the Attorney General's office work?
Right. I mean, very well. I mean, I talk a lot about wanting to build an attorney general's office that has the mindset and the mentality that every single day is an opportunity to go to work for Iowa workers, consumers, seniors, or anybody who just happens to be an Iowan. And I think that putting the focus of the office back on Iowa, back on regular people, is something that resonates very well.
Can you talk a little bit? I saw that there was a poll that came out recently about your race. Can you talk about
Yes.
that?
Right. There's a poll that shows that before we've really started communicating a message to Iowans that we're within the margin of error already. I think behind maybe by 2 percentage points. So there's obviously opportunity to be successful in November. There's certainly frustration, I think, that Iowans have with Des Moines in general and with Brenna Bird in particular.
And I've been kind of famously skeptical about the statewide races, but I think that that poll actually had more Republicans in the sample than Democrats. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Yeah, so that to be within the margin of error before you've even started advertising is quite a lot. So, can you talk about this news that broke this week about the Iowa Secretary of State
Mm.
sharing voter data with the federal government, apparently after getting Brenna Bird's okay on that?
Right, and I think what we're really talking about here in particular are driver's license numbers and social security numbers. Because I mean, anybody can go to your county auditor's office and get. I mean, there's so much data that is public, but I mean, that's the question. Why would the federal government need all of that data? Why would the Iowa Attorney General just so willingly offer it up? Well, I mean, the Secretary of State has provided it, but one would have to imagine in consultation with the Attorney General's office. I mean, other states have had some success in standing up for the privacy of the voters across the state, and that's, obviously not the way that the leadership in Des Moines elected to go on this question.
I Brenna Bird spoke on Tuesday at a rally where Vice President JD Vance came here, and she said, JD Vance, we'd welcome you anywhere in the state of Iowa. I mean, how do you feel? Would you welcome JD Vance coming to campaign for Republicans in Iowa? Do you think that's going to be more helpful to Republicans or more helpful to Democrats?
I don't honestly have a clue. I mean, you know, there's so many things that people bring up to me over the course of the last year on this campaign. The vice president has not been one of them.
There's an unusual ad that's a lot of people may have seen on cable or on streaming services. It's run by a group called Frontiers of Freedom that I don't know much about, and it's criticizing Brenna Bird over a lawsuit that's related to investment management or financial managers. I don't know do you have any thoughts about that lawsuit or that ad campaign? It's different. It's just not a story that's gotten a lot of press, and I think they've
Right.
spent about $250,000 on the advertising so far.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it on my TV. Somebody showed it to me once, and I thought it was odd, and I really haven't given it much of a second or third thought. I don't know, who the organization is, and I don't honestly know a great deal about the details of that particular litigation that must be at the heart of that controversy.
I'm going to put a link to the ad and to the lawsuit in the notes below this interview because I didn't it was the attorney general's involved in so many multi-state lawsuits. This
Well,
was
there you
one
go.
that I wasn't even familiar with, even though I feel like I keep track of quite a few of her multi-state lawsuits. So, is there anything else that I didn't ask that you'd want people to know either about your campaign or what you're hearing from people out there?
Well, I've been talking a lot about wanting to build a new wage enforcement unit in the Attorney General's office that will take on just some of the basic laws that say things like you have to pay workers all wages due on time. You have to have carry employers must carry workers' compensation insurance. Just laws that have been on the books for decades, but do need to be enforced. And I've, been talking to people a lot about, my concern of, the state of nursing homes and long-term care facilities in this state. I mean, that do take Medicaid dollars from the state of Iowa and make promises to us, and in many occasions are not living up to those promises. So that's a real source of concern of mine. That that I mean, people do seem to be responding positively to those things.
And Nate, how can people find out more about you and your campaign? Where can they follow you?
Well, I mean, our website's real easy. It's just natewillems.com. The only complicated thing might be just spelling my last name correctly because it's Willems. It's this odd sort of Dutch German thing that, apparently it is I found out it's a reasonably common spelling in the Netherlands, but not here.
And on other socials, is it Nate Willems, Iowa? I'm trying to remember.
It's Willems for Iowa.
Willems for Iowa. Okay, I will also put those links in the show notes. Nate Willems, thank you so much for taking a little bit of
Thank you.
time out of your busy day,
It's
and
great
good
to
luck
see
out
you.
there.
We'll see you soon. Take care.